balance. Getting the balance right. That has been something which has been, yo, sorry this is so, Darcy, man. Hi. What is she doing? Yeah, sorry this is close. This is just so the lighting's a bit better, because if it's all the way back up here then, oh, that's not bad. But yeah, when I start moving it's probably a little, okay, no, that's fine. Anywho, as I was saying, balance. Balance in life is something which I've found quite difficult. Balancing all the different elements of life. And it becomes increasingly more difficult when you have God at the center, because your whole day revolves around God. That makes it sound as if it's a negative, but it's not. God is crucial. Like, it's crucial to keep God at the center. So that's not a negative. What I'm trying to say is, it takes away your time to do other things. And as a person who wants to stay active, who wants to be healthy, who wants to pursue ideas and goals and all these different things, it can be difficult. And again, in my experience, I have to keep God at the center of everything. Like, the way I start my morning is with God, of course. Spend time in His presence, spend time in prayer, spend time in the Word, so my relationship with Him flourishes and grows. Same at the end of the night, right? Spending my last roughly hour with God through journaling, through the Bible, and through prayer. And having those two moments, as well as if you have let's say a midday prayer, it takes a lot of your time. But it's the most crucial time. It's the most crucial time. It allows you to, again, grow in your relationship with God. You need it. And that's the type of sacrifice which you have to make to get closer to God. Sacrifice, again, sounds negative. I'm really not good with my words. It's something which I'm trying to improve on. Yesterday I had a meeting at work and I was just saying all the wrong words and conveying the completely wrong message because I wasn't articulating myself properly. And afterward I just had my head in hands. I was like, man, I really came across like not well. So I mean, that's something which I need to learn to do better. I'm growing. But anyway, you need to sacrifice other things for your relationship with God to grow. You need to sacrifice, what could I give an example? You're going to need to sacrifice time with friends. You're going to have to sacrifice activities which you enjoy doing. You're going to have to sacrifice doing less of the things which you love. Pursuing your goals maybe to a lesser extent, or taking the percentage down on them a notch, in order for God to remain at the center. And that's I guess a kind of battle which we have to go through as Christians, right? Because if we have all our eggs in, well, if we put all of our focus on, let's say, pursuing a dream, right, and we do that night until day, that can lead to us neglecting our relationship with God, because we're spending all of our time on that. And my friend, that's not good. I would obviously heavily advise against that. We're called to love God with all our heart, mind, soul and strength. I don't even know what I'd be saying. I don't know even where I'm going with this, but balance is hard. For example, for me, right, I enjoy playing basketball. I try to every now and again on the weekend if it's nice and if I have the time to go down to Leazes Park in Newcastle. But I used to play for a team, very shortly, very briefly. I'm not good but it was just good fun. And that would involve training every Monday from 8 to 10. And to do that, I had to sacrifice a little bit of time with God in the evening, because by the time I'd get back, I would be absolutely shattered. It's really late because it takes quite a while to commute and get there and get back from training. And then I had to shower, eat, and by the end of the day I was tired and just wanted to go straight to sleep. So in doing that, right, my time in prayer and my time in the Word reduced on Monday nights. And that kind of led to a little bit of a negative domino effect, where sometimes it would lead me to doing the same throughout the week, even if I wasn't staying up late. And again, that had a knock-on effect on my sleep cycle, and when I woke up I was really groggy and wasn't in the right frame and wasn't in the right state of mind really, for a short period of time when it comes to prayer and just being with God and in His presence. So in trying to keep God at the center, this is a bit dangerous. Darcy, you're going to have to tread really lightly. Thank you. Mission complete. Anyhow, in trying to keep things in balance, I had to sacrifice not doing basketball anymore. So I've left the team. And that's to keep God at the center. Sacrificing the basketball has allowed me to establish a more routine. A more consistent routine, in the fact that every single night I have designated time towards God, which I get to spend with Him at the end of my day. And I get to be more intentional in my journaling, which I use as a form of prayer, my time in the Word, and also in verbal communicative prayer. So that was something which kind of stung, because again, I really enjoy basketball, and playing for a team for the first time was great. It was great fun. But again, with those Monday sessions and midweek games, it was not damaging my relationship with God, but it led me to me spending less time with Him, and it led to a bit of an inconsistency in my relationship with Him. So balance is hard, and sometimes we have to make, that is a really dodgy bridge, we need to make sacrifices in order to keep God at the center. So if you have anything in your life which you feel like is creating a little bit of a block or a barrier to spending intentional time with God, then I'd encourage you to have a little bit of a think about it. Because again, with removing that, although I enjoy basketball, my relationship with God has improved and has become more consistent. And it doesn't need to be necessarily a routine with God, but it just helps you to establish regularity, and it stabilizes your relationship with Him. Having regularity stabilizes your relationship with Him. I'm swapping arms, sorry guys. And I guess another element which goes into that is idolatry, right? Sometimes we may have things which we don't want to let go of, which we put above God, which we prioritize over God, and we don't want to remove from our lives because it brings us some joy, it brings us some happiness, it brings us fun. But be wary in that, right? If you hold on to something so much which which you become afraid to let go of it, it's likely that that has become an idol for you. It's really likely that that has become an idol for you, especially when you're trying to keep God at the center, to keep God first. Like, for example, this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel for me, I would say, isn't an idol. It's not an idol of mine, although I love doing it. That sounds so corny. Although I really enjoy doing this. If God told me to stop doing this, I would stop doing it. And now the internal thoughts go around in circles like, oh, is God telling me to? Shut that. But if God told me to stop doing this, to focus more time on Him, to put this on the back burner, or even remove it completely, to stop doing it, full stop, I would do that. Because God's first, not creating content. And for you, that could be sport. Again, for me, back in the day, I used to do judo. Say back in the day, that wasn't even too long ago, like 1-2 years ago. I used to do judo and I really enjoyed it. For me, I love football as well. Yesterday, got 2 goals. Started playing football again. Just, not regularly, but just for fun. Little work sevens thing going on. Made my debut last week, scored 4 goals or whatever. And yesterday scored another 2, so 6 goals in 2 games, ain't too bad, is it? Shout out to Prime. If you don't know about Prime Jesse back in his day, Prime Lionel Jesse back in his day, I feel bad for you. Beautiful footballer to watch. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, even football, that can become an idol if you start to put that above God. And for me, that's something I had to check myself about earlier in my relationship with God. Idolising Arsenal, prioritising watching Arsenal games over going to church. That's something I had to consider. Where is my heart? Where are my priorities? It was clearly watching my football team play over spending time in communion with the body of Christ. So it's something you need to be wary of. Idolatry is something which is very rampant, and it can even be in the small things again. For example, whatever your goals are, if you have goals and aspirations in life which you'd be unwilling to stop even if God told you to stop, that's a concern, and that's something you need to check yourself on. And again, I was speaking about balance, and that goes in with balance, right? In order to have that balance, you need to have God first at the front and at the center of everything. Have that in check. And then from there, if there are any other things which you like to spend your time doing, that's okay, but God must be at the center. God must be first. And that's not to say that you can't do other things. Like, as I said, I've just started playing football again, and playing football once or twice a week from 6 to 7 p.m, that's not going to get in the way of my time with God. And I won't allow it to. And with my other things which I want to do, right? Whether that be content, as we're speaking now, or other aspirations which I'm not gonna speak about right now, other things which I have in mind for the future, other goals, whatever. You can do them, I can do them, and that'll be beneficial. But you must keep the balance. You cannot neglect your relationship with God. And that's the hard thing, right? Because we all have 24 hours in a day. We only have 24 hours in a day. 24 times 7. I'm not going to do the maths, but that's how much you have in a week. That's how much time you have in a week to get things done and to balance a lot of things. It's possible, but it's hard, I'll tell you. it's hard. And I'm sure all of you will know that as well. Balancing work and study with church, Bible study, with your own hobbies. I can't even think about anything else. But there are multiple things which you need to, or you want to balance, but keep God at the center and keep God at the start. Keep God first.